Mediations and settlement conferences are also something that I have done, that my office is doing regularly. Uh, and interestingly, the mediators seem to like Zoom. And one of the reasons, Zoom has obviously increased in sophistication since all the bad press it was getting about those security breaches. But one of the reasons that Zoom is preferred is because they actually have breakout rooms, and the mediator can control who's in what room. Now, to an extent, you just got to trust that the mediator is managing those properly. But I had a mediation 2 days ago where my client was a judge, and she was very uncomfortable using video conferencing. She was uncomfortable using Zoom in particular. And so we started our openings. It was a multi-party litigation. We started our openings in WebEx. Her and I stayed in WebEx, and the mediator figured out a way to get everybody else into Zoom, divide them into rooms, and then she would sign in and out. Eventually, we did get the case settled. The mediator definitely had to do some tap dancing to go between programs, but she was more than happy to do that. In the case that I have here, it's one that we have passed around our office in order to use if necessary if somebody's pushing back with examinations for discovery of mediations. And in this case, where the defendant argued that it would be prejudiced by going through a video conference hearing rather than an in-person hearing. And the judge responded and said, as a matter of general practice, the consent of the parties isn't required for the court to schedule a video conference. It's clear from the terms of the practice direction, April 6th, the court is faced with an unprecedented challenge maintaining the institutions essential for the continuation of the rule of law in the face of COVID-19. And recourse to electronic hearings is a key aspect of the court's response. So, the court is saying, A, I don't need your consent, and B, this is a key aspect of how the court is trying to adapt. The defendant argued that things are lost when you're doing things by video conference. And the judge responds and says, something will be lost if court business does not continue as best as can be managed during the COVID-19 crisis. So he just sort of threw it back at him and said, hey, let's look at the real cost here. And there's more that can be lost by not, continuing on with the steps that we can, than a potential risk of things being lost by video conference and not in person.